Slowly, a pink lining glowed around Kari's body, but then it faded into a darker tone. Out of rage, she was unintentionally letting out a large amount of mana from her unused magic. Then Clydia frowned and vanished, as lights from the sky came down, blinding Kari. For a moment, she was distracted by the sudden light, but then heard a bold voice from above. "Kari Juwin, goddess of love and now witches." It spoke with great force. "You are hereby stripped of your power given to you by the gods. You are to live in the mortal realm as punishment." "Why do you wish the world to crumble?" Kari yelled. "I am trying to save them. Why do you hate these people?" Ignoring Kari's cries, it continued. "I will take your voice as well, to only whisper in pain and suffering to pay for your crimes."
Wait.
Kari was cut off and held in her breath. She then dropped down to the ground, feeling weaker by the seconds. All her power of a goddess was slowly sucked away, and Kari was left there helpless, the same as she was told. The light faded and the voice was gone. The forest was dark and quiet. Almost nothing but the weak sobbing was heard. Kari curled up as she let herself face reality. One thing led to another. Footsteps were heard crunching leaves and twigs around. Jolin had been seen from above, with a face full of guilt. Kari felt the pain slowly sink in, knowing no matter what, she was unable to live her life the same any longer. Later, Jolin had stayed with Kari, helping her live as any mortal would. Since she was blocked from her usual self, she became fragile, quiet and soft in her actions. Jolin watched from afar. Even though he was still so close to her, he felt further away. Kari would occasionally go out to a glimmering forest, one known to have many powerful herbs. "I see you are going out again." Jolin peeked out the kitchen doorway, handing Kari her basket. "Make sure you be back before sundown." Kari nodded in response as she took the basket and went off into the forest. She had felt more connected to the earth than before, feeling the energy slowly boost up her strength. Each herb she brought back helped soften the pain in her throat, making it easier for herself. Though, on a sunnier day than usual, she found more than just herbs. As Kari stopped to sit down next to a tree, she placed her basket nearby. Picking the herbs found there in a mixture of various colors. This was followed by the sound of a single twig and a young man standing next to a tree in front of Kari. Looking up at him, she was processing herself, knowing that she hadn't been in contact with anyone from the nearby kingdom in years. All she could do was stare at his beauty, seeing how different he looked than most. He seemed to be of the elf race, with pointy ears sticking out the sides of his head. His hair was a bright blonde, along with the deep blue eyes and fair pale skin. What he wore was a light blue and white outfit with gold lining in the design. "Excuse me, miss," he spoke in a soft and gentle tone. What are you doing in the forest alone?" To the man, Kari looked beautiful and almost tripped over his words. Seeing her long pink hair spread across her shoulders down to the grass made him think of silk. It was glazing in the trickles of sunlight that shined through the trees. Kari tried to speak, but she gave up and turned back toward the herbs. With a sad expression, she tried her best to hold back any tears. Looking away from the man, there was almost a sure possibility that he would not care to notice her vague gesture and leave. "Pardon me, but..." He walked closer to Neil. "Are you hurt?" From what felt like a safe distance, Kari looked back at him, seeing that he was kneeling. For a moment, all her precious memories of Leon had flooded back, remembering his kindness just as this man showed. Then, even without showing much emotion, Kari suddenly felt tears flowing from her eyes, and everything had blurred. "Oh, no!" The man waved his hands around. "Apologies, I meant no harm. Kari touched her tears, in question of why and how she would cry in front of a complete stranger. The man tried to think of something quickly. Kari was confused and looked up at the man again, staring in his eyes. He paused for a moment, making direct eye contact. Kari spoke in a whisper, and the man looked at her, realizing. He just barely heard her, but she asked who he was. Trying to think, he responded in a simple way. "I am Jake Allen," he spoke. "But who are you, miss?" He decided to move closer to Kari, just enough to hear her better. Kari was surprised. She had no idea who he was. Even to her knowledge about most people in time, he was the first she had never heard of before. Kari spoke again, barely louder. "My name is Kari Jufuin." She spoke with some strain. "You have trouble speaking?" Jake took note. "Are you out here gathering herbs?" Kari nodded in response, quickly picking up her basket to show him. Jake looked down inside and saw that they were too weak, only the type to alleviate pain. "If you want, I can assist you in gathering herbs." Jake softly smiled. Kari looked at his smile as a rushed feeling of joy, excitement, and comfort spread around her chest. Her heart skipped a beat, and she slowly nodded as she stared in awe. "Very well then." Jake stood, raising his hand for Kari. "Shall we?" End of Section 3.